Hey, on today's show, important Instagram updates that we as marketers need to know about, including best practices for Instagram Reels. These are straight from Instagram, so we'll break down what those are. Also, a way for people to leave comments on your content that you won't be able to see. There's a disturbing angle on this, and we'll explain exactly what this test is all about. And another signal that Instagram is prioritizing DMs in a big way. Some cool new features for Instagram ads and lots more all coming up right now. My name is Jerry Potter. Yes, it rhymes with the boy wizard, host of the Social Media Marketing Talk Show, where we break down all the latest social media news and what it means for marketers like you. Now, today I'm joined by Chelsea Pites. Chelsea teaches sales professionals how to leverage social media and technology to build a powerful personal brand and develop content that generates real leads. She's also the host of the Chelsea Pites podcast, and her most recent book is called What to Post. Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to be back as always.
So let's start with some of these Reels changes. I saw something that they announced at an event that over 50% of the time being spent on Instagram is on Reels. So no surprising that the development of this just keeps moving forward more and more. So what's the latest that they've announced around Reels?
So they've announced a whole lot of new editing opportunities directly within the Reels editor. So let's go through a few of those right now. They are now allowing Reels for close friends only. You might remember, I think it was probably a couple of years ago, they rolled out the close friends where you can add people to a list. You can also take people off of that list and they won't be notified. But if you have a close friends list, you can now share a reel with only those close friends. So you don't have to post it out to the world. You can just share it with them. So that's one of the updates. It's also going to be working, that feature is going to be working for accounts that are both public and private. So I know some people had questions about, well, how will this work if I have a private account or a public account? It will work for both types of accounts. They're also adding multiple collaborators, and collaborators is where if you and I collaborated on something, I can actually add you or invite you as a collaborator, and then it will show and post on both of our grids. Both of us will be able to see all of the comments that you get on your post on your grid and on mine. And that had been limited to 1. Now we're going up to 5 collaborators, which is definitely going to help with reach. And Instagram has been saying if you collaborate with people, you're going to get reach because you're going to be shown to their audience too. So imagine multiplying that with even more people.
Yeah, well, and this is a great thing too for anyone that, has guests as part of their content or anything like we do with this show. And basically you get to create a piece of content and then the other person, add the other person as a collaborator, they accept, and all of a sudden it's a win-win all around. So you said it's 5, so you could have up to 6 people then? That seems...
I think it's total 5. So 1
okay,
plus
so
4
1 plus
more.
4. Okay. Like I was excited to see that you could have more than 1, but still a great tool.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a few more to go. No surprise. We got lots of updates. You can now add song lyrics to your reels if that's something that maybe you want to up the storytelling level or the emotional level. Maybe it's a song that really speaks to the storytelling in your actual reel. You're going to be able to customize how those lyrics show up on the reel as well. You can choose font style, positioning, just like the captions and what we can see now. So you're going to be able to add lyrics. And then I'm excited about this one because I've been a little bit disappointed, if I'm being honest, by the Reels templates. I have been seeing a lot of templates that a lot of users have been putting into the system, and turns out they do not exist. The templates that I have, obviously it's from a third-party tool, but I would like to see more there. They're going to have a new browsing experience where you can browse, save, discover templates that are organized by categories based on recommended templates, trending templates, things that you've used in the past if you've saved audio. So they're going to give you a new experience around that. And they're also going to give you some inspiration. So if you need a little inspo, something like an example, if you're a visual learner, you can kind of see some examples that other people have used, and then you create your own unique spin from there. And then what happens is when you use those templates, what's really nice about them is that if that creator who made that template has fancy transitions or different sorts of timing that they've already painstakingly put into that template, it just auto transfers over, and you basically don't have to do anything but load in the content to that template, and away you go. And last but not least, they're doing some new and improved editing features. You can add or remove clips. You can adjust the timing of the individual clips, and you can edit any preloaded element. So those will be some good tools.
Yeah, none of this is too surprising considering, what we just said about how half the time in Instagram is being spent on Reels from the consumer side. So, not surprising at all. One of the big frustrations for anyone who creates Reels in the Instagram app has been the limitation of what you can do with audio. And now apparently they've blown that up much, much bigger now, right?
Wow. I mean, when we say blow it up, they blew it up. They have now allowed users to add up to 20 tracks of audio, which I'm excited about because I remember the frustration early on of thinking, oh, how fun it would be to have this song here and this audio here. And that wasn't possible, at least within the app. And so now you're going to be able to add different audio tracks and more than just one, which is awesome. You can go just so crazy out there and do 20 if you so choose.
Yeah, and when I worked in radio, we certainly did audios, that had more than 20 different tracks of effects and all that kind of stuff. I just can't imagine doing it on my phone.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
my
a lot.
thumbs are too big, but but it's nice that there's more than one. You can actually have more than one song in a reel and things like that. So
Exactly.
great opportunity there. And then one other update around the reels is now you can invite a collaborator after you've posted a reel. So I haven't done this yet, but I've been thinking about going back and maybe inviting them, because I have some stuff from before we had collaborations, and I wonder if it might get some new reach based on that. I haven't tested it yet.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, that could be a really good strategy. I've not used it either, but I think it's something that I remember seeing Adam Mosseri. He was answering a Q&A from his weekly live Q&A, and one of the comments was, when are you going to allow us to go retroactive and add a collaborator? And he said, you know what? I don't know why we haven't done that yet. It
Oh,
seems
really?
they got that loaded up real quick. So it's awesome.
It seems like we say that almost every episode of this show, like they didn't have this yet. Like, how come they haven't done this yet? So about something. So that's interesting. All right. Instagram has come out and said best practices for Reels. Here's what they are. We're going to run down those for you here in just a second. But if you are somebody that feels like imposter syndrome is maybe holding you back, and I think all of us feel like, if anybody tells you they don't feel imposter syndrome, they're probably lying. We all feel it sometimes. Sometimes we don't have the confidence to try something new. Maybe it is short form video, or maybe it's, growing your personal brand, positioning yourself as a thought leader. Well, we're here to tell you that you are enough and you can do this. And the first step to just skyrocketing this for yourself is to surround yourself with other people who are already doing it and believe that you can do it as well. This is the smart approach. And you're going to find these people. We're going to all get together in one place at Social Media Marketing World coming up in early 2024 in San Diego. There's a really good chance that if you are there, you will walk away inspired to do that thing you've always wanted to do. There have been countless stories. Secure your ticket right now. Start your adventure. Go to socialmediamarketing.world. Again, socialmediamarketing.world. All right. Okay, let's talk about Instagram's best practices. So they've come out and given some specific tips for Reels. And Chelsea, first run through what these are, and then I would love to know your thoughts on if you go, yep, that's absolutely true, or that's true sometimes, or I haven't seen that to be
Imagine
true at all.
I've got my salt. I'm with my grain of salt here.
Yes, exactly.
Let's give some general best practices. I don't think there was anything that was like, whoa, this is like so shocking and surprising, but there were two on here that were kind of interesting to me. So it talks about using a 3-second hook or a hook in the first 3 seconds. No surprise there, to stop the scroll and get people interested. So now they're actively telling people you need to have a hook. They also talked about, this one was the one that I have a little asterisk by, that if you want your content to be sort of recommended more often, it's really the sweet spot of 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And that one kind of took me by surprise because they've been talking about short, and short.
And so you thought that was long?
Well, I don't think it's long, but they've been talking about very, very short reels and micro length reels for such a long time.
Yeah.
I thought, well, isn't that interesting, 30 to 60 seconds? But for somebody like me who creates 90-second educational content, it made me think, I wonder if I need to get that down to like 59 seconds just to see if there's a difference in the distribution.
Yeah. Okay. Let's come back and talk about length in just a second. What are the other best practices they mentioned?
Trending relevant hashtags, trending audio. They're going to show those hashtags and audio that you can apply to that. High res uploads, they said, are better. Of course, they've been saying that forever. Watch the lighting, make sure it's not blurry. This was another one that they're saying that the users that are seeing the most steady growth on Instagram organically are posting 10 reels per month or more.
Okay. So on the length thing, Adam Mosseri came out a couple weeks ago, and this was a huge announcement. He basically came out and said, we're focusing on short videos that people can share with friends via DMs, all that kind of stuff, which to me kind of said, we're not going after YouTube anymore. Like that's not our thing. And so, for a while it's been confusing because any video becomes a reel on Instagram, even if it's 8 minutes long. But the official limit has been obviously shorter. I was not surprised by the 30 to 60 second spot, simply because, especially from a marketer standpoint, we have to have enough time to make an impact so that somebody remembers our reel two reels later, or to hit follow or something like that. So, but I was glad to see them say that. And I do think when you get, you have a very loyal following, so I'm not surprised that you can do 90 seconds and get away with it. But because reels are in that, that discovery phase of everyone's funnel, I think 15 is not going to get you anything other than a bunch of, vanity metrics, but 30 to 60, you can really get some good stuff in there. That's what I've seen. So
agree.
All right. This next update is a little bit controversial and weird. So first, explain the whole thing about temporary notes. That Instagram right now is doing.
To explain it the way that my brain thinks of it. So I think we now mostly know what the notes are. It started off in the inbox where you'd see up at the top, the little circle. Then it moved to other places. You can now leave a note on the top of your own profile too. This is like a note, or like almost like a Post-it note that you're placing on someone's content or your own. Because I was able to put a note on my reel or post. So it's feed, posts, and reels. So now you can have a note on there. But there's a couple of things about these notes. It's not like it stays there forever. It's temporary. It only stays for 3 days. And they're calling them semi-private. Semi-private meaning when I click the little airplane, the share icon, that's how you get to the notes to leave a note as well. And you click on the note and it will pop up and say, who do you want to share this with? Your entire audience or just your close friends? So it's going to appear as what they called a floating bubble on top of that post. And there's been some talk, and I really tried to find the exact wording, where Meta said, it's going to like help with more exposure. So for example, if Jerry puts a note on someone's post that I'm not following because I'm following Jerry, I'm more likely to then see that post of the person I don't follow recommended in my feed because you put the note on it. You can also turn off this feature on your posts if they prefer. I'm not quite sure if they're making it default available for everyone and you actually have to go in and turn it off, or you have to I didn't have to turn it on. So my guess is that if you don't want that, you're going to have to go in your settings and turn that off.
And sort of I try and be an optimistic person, but sort of the doomsday scenario here is, let's say somebody has a complaint about your brand or your company, and so they leave a negative comment for them and maybe all of their followers. Well, all of a sudden now, this whole big thing could erupt about your business that you'd have no access to. Now, the difference is, obviously, somebody could do that privately in DMs, or they could be gathered in person or anything like that. But in this case, it's this semi-private conversation that can still be seen by a bunch of people that were not previously part of it. So that's potentially, I mean, I used to work in reputation management for brands, and this could spin out of control really quickly.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm just not sure about. And I was like, wait, are you getting the same thing I am, that creators may not be able to see these? So I'm not quite sure. I'm with you. Like, generally, of course, we're positive people and we love to use things for good on social media. And so far I've had a great experience, but I mean, again, maybe somebody's shared something I don't know.
I'll let you know if I see anything from our mutual friends. Yeah. And I think for any of these new features, and this is what I always advise people to, it's like, leave it on until there's a problem, because you don't know. This might actually turn into something really great, and somebody might be introduced to your content that hasn't been before because their friend left a note or something like this. Agreed. And so before we all rush to turn off the feature, I think it's one of those things that's worth leaving erring on the side of. It might be a good thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
So, yeah. All right. Couple of Instagram ads updates, including the opportunity to, as I understand this, to actually showcase a custom offer right on your button on
Mhm.
Instagram. So this means with an Instagram ad, it would no longer be the generic learn more, book now.
Well, it's sort of. It's like a combination. So if you imagine a link sticker or a link button where it has the little link icon and then maybe it says like shop now, and then there's like a little tiny part of the end of that same sticker or that button that will say something like 10% off.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's kind of what we're used to seeing with those call outs or calls to action buttons that have the link image and whatever, like learn more, shop now, etc. And then at the end of that, it's going to, I believe, automatically pick that up when you're creating the ad. It's going to be able to, if you have like a discount or a percentage off, just add that into the visual of the button so it's sitting right there.
Hmm. That's potentially, I mean, I could see that increasing
Yeah,
conversions like 10%
absolutely.
easily if just by being able to use these things that we know work, like ending soon, ending today, ending
Mhm.
tomorrow, different things like that. So that's definitely a biggie. And then the other one is it's interesting. We've been seeing this for a while, but it sounds like it's now available to everyone if they're running ads. And that is to do sort of a banner ad at the bottom of Instagram Reels. So is that your interpretation now? Because you and I have both been seeing these for over a year, but now it
Yeah.
sounds like the placement's available to everybody.
Yes, and it's kind of similar if you haven't seen this. I've been seeing this for a while. I know, Jerry, you've been seeing it for about a year, but you know how we kind of tell people you kind of want your text on your reel to be sort of within these windows or parameters, because if it gets too low, it's probably going to be covered up by your profile picture and the first line of the caption and the song track name. This is even going to be more, taking up more space. So it is going to be even more important that if you do have text, we got to kind of keep it up below the lower third of that reel. But yes, I have seen it. It looks just like a little rectangle, and it will have a little ad in it, and you could tap on it if you want to. To be honest with you, I've never tapped on one yet.
I could see it as a good retargeting placement.
Yeah, for
So if
sure.
somebody engaged, like this morning I was browsing Facebook and I clicked on this ad it was for electric scooters.
Mhm.
Just because I've seen them as we've been traveling in these different cities and I'm like, that'd be so fun to have one. So I clicked on one. And so I could see if next week somebody retargeted me with one and I'd be like, I did want to know more about that. But
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, it's very small
Yes.
and it would be very hard to do a whole lot with those. But anyway, but it's new, so maybe they'll be
Mhm.
cheaper and easier to use up front. All right, Instagram carousels have gotten obviously much bigger over the last couple of years. Instagram recently, in the last year, added the ability to have multiple size images in your carousels and videos, and now there's a couple of other updates around Instagram carousels. So update us on those, please.
Yeah, I actually just used this. I haven't gotten the other updates, sadly, where you can add text to your your carousel and each individual graphic. But now they're allowing you to add music even to the video carousels, which previously you had to have static images, and some people still weren't able to add music. But I was able to add music, but only when I had static images or graphics, not if I had a mixture of an image and then a video. So I actually just tried this and it allowed me to add the music to also the video, which is nice because it just sort of went through the whole thing and I didn't have to worry about going to a third party app and removing the sound or me talking on the video because I just wanted it to have music throughout the whole thing. So yeah,
So
that's
as someone swipes through the video clips, the song just one song plays continuously.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nice. It's almost like they get to edit your video clips together at their own pace.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the music's not all choppy. So okay.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
neat. And then the other update around this is when it comes to promoting or boosting, they said, yeah, you can have various size images, but now they're saying, oh, but we're not going to let you boost them or promote them.
Interesting, right? Yes. I know the last
Yeah.
time we talked about this, we were kind of confused because, usually the quote unquote best practice is to make your images take up the entire space that you might have, which is why some people complain about horizontal to vertical and having like the bars on the top or on the sides. And they said, you know what? Forget all of that. You could just upload whatever shape and size you want.
You
And
do
so
you.
we thought, okay. But now apparently they're like, only if you want to just post it and have it be organic. And I'm looking into it. Perhaps that's because they know that it performs better when you do take up the entire screen, that's the visual field that's there. So have fun, you do you, as you said, but don't boost it.
Okay. All right. That is going to be a limitation there. Okay. Well, it wouldn't be an update on Instagram without some new AI stuff, starting with what they're calling AI Studio. Tell us about AI Studio and what that's going to let us be able to do.
Yeah, I think this kind of might be kind of cool. When I first read this, I thought it was referring back to you creating your own AI version of yourself, which I think we talked about. We were like, I don't know about that, but it's not that exactly. This is going to be creating a customized AI chatbot version of themselves. And when I heard version of themselves, I was like, wait, is this going to be like a Bitmoji? No. It looks just like DMs, and you set it up and it's labeled that it's AI. So you don't have to worry about people, which I appreciate, thinking that it's actually the real you responding back. But I feel like it's kind of like a 2.0 version of what we've seen on Facebook pages, business pages, where they've had some of those, very basic chatbot or frequently asked questions. I think on Instagram is what they call it, where you can, have something automated and pull up. So this will be a much more robust, enhanced version. It's primarily showing up in messaging, which makes sense. Hopefully it doesn't show up in comments. I wouldn't like that. And it's clearly labeled as AI. So I don't know when this is coming out, just a test. I personally haven't seen it in the wild. That's what they're doing. It'll look just like a regular DM with your profile picture, but it'll have like a tiny, 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 tiny little notification that's like, this is Chelsea's chatbot.
Yes. It's not actually Chelsea, but might seem like Chelsea. And then the other update is how they're labeling stuff. And it's interesting how this has evolved over the last year or so around AI stuff. So before it was made with AI, so you knew it was AI based, and now they're changing it to just say AI info, which people can click for more information. And so I don't know, do you feel like there's just so much AI content now that is that what drove this change?
Not being within this industry specifically in that niche, I can't speak, intelligently on it, but I do know that they even said in every time they have an article or an interview that it has to be reliant upon industry standards. Are the industry standards set yet? Are they always evolving? So, there's going to be mistakes where things maybe aren't made with AI, or what we might think. I'm just tweaking the background because the clouds behind me look a little too gray and I'd like them to look a little bit more, sky blue. Does that make us, trigger that AI? So ultimately, I think the goal is positive. We want to know, we want transparency. We want to know when things are made with AI. From what it sounds like in the interviews that I've listened to, there's a long way to go in figuring out what are those universal industry standards. And as this evolves, so will those, I'm assuming.
On YouTube, it's a little more like, hey, are people going to think this is real and it's actually fake? Is kind of that's not how they ask it, which obviously leaves a lot of room for interpretation, but it is also making it more clear. Like, we just don't want you to mislead people with AI. We don't care if you use ChatGPT to write your script or to come up with a title for this video. We just don't want you to mislead people. So they're all figuring it out as they go, for sure. So, all right. Well, speaking of YouTube, there's a feature called Super Likes on YouTube, which Instagram is now working on for Instagram stories. So first, for people that aren't familiar, tell us what a super like will be on Instagram, and then your thoughts.
This one, I'm telling you, I was like so confused. I mean, I know what it is, but I was like, but why? Like, and I know you're a YouTuber, so you might need to talk about the value. Like, I can understand like if it's like a paid thing, like gifting, or maybe you get something if you. They're testing a super like, and you get one a day, one in a 24-hour period. I just don't know. Jerry, give me your insight, because
it's not something that I use on YouTube, but I'm certainly familiar with it. And my guess is that this is a test moving towards something bigger, where you can give a super like that does maybe, monetize for and give a gift to the creator or whoever made the content. So that would be my guess. I do think that there is something, to be said if people know you only get one a day. Like imagine, you post
Yeah.
Instagram stories a lot, and imagine if the first few times you got one, you'd be like, you used it on me, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
true. Good thought there. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and I could see, again, we'd have to go back and look at the Instagram contest guidelines, but I could see brands using it where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, give us your super like today for a chance to win or something like that,
Yeah,
and
and
that
I
could
was
potentially increase
thinking
your reach and engagement a lot.
it could be a substitute possibly for the polls where you're like, hey, if you like this idea or this idea better, get, super like the one you like better, something along those lines. But I don't know
Oh,
why.
because you can only use one a day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. On
Okay.
this one.
All right. And this is an unconfirmed test as far as Instagram is confirmed, but multiple people have seen this in the app, and that is making the messaging icon, the DM icon, the main focus in the app, where instead of being hidden in the upper right corner only on one tab, it would actually be right smack dab in the middle at the bottom of the Instagram app. Have you seen it at all? And what are your thoughts on
I
that?
have not seen it in the wild. And I think I'm with you where I'm like, what took you so long? Like, I'm surprised that this isn't actually a thing. And so this kind of reminds me of when Reels, remember they put the Reels icon like in the bottom of the main Instagram profile with like there was like now it's like the plus sign, there's the home, there's the profile icons at the bottom, and they
Yeah.
put Reels there, and everyone was like, oh, what is this? I don't remember if they did IGTV at one point there, but anyway, the picture that we saw or the screen grab was in the center was the little paper airplane, the messaging icon. And I'm not mad about it. I feel like I love to message people and I often message people. And so it doesn't surprise me at all. They've been really, really, really pushing. Our goal is to connect people through messaging and specifically private messaging and sharing of content to friends in the DM ecosystem, which is exactly what they're talking about with shareable content. And we believe that shareable content is the kind of content that facilitates or is adjacent to connection and friendships, if I'm paraphrasing.
No, but that you're exactly right. This goes along exactly with what they've been saying about, Instagram as a place for people to connect with their friends around their common interests and the content they like. So no surprise there. Plus, if you think about all of the stuff that's gotten shoved into the DMs, like it used to just be DMs, right? And now you have a creator or a business profile, you've got multiple tabs of DMs, and then you got notes on top, and then you got broadcast channels, and like it's all in there now. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this get fast tracked and be everywhere in the next 60 days. But as of now, they're not officially admitting that it's happening. So
Right.
That's where we are with it at the moment. All right. Quick reminder, learn more about getting your all access ticket for Social Media Marketing World today. Go to socialmediamarketing.world right now. Again, socialmediamarketing.world. Chelsea, where is the best place to discover more about you?
Instagram is where I'm hanging out the most. You can find me. My name right here on the screen is my Instagram handle. It's at chelsea.pites. And if you want more information, you can go to my link in bio there, get all of my goodies, or you can just go to my website, which is chelseapites.com.
Awesome. And if you enjoy this and you are looking for some other podcasts to add to your listening lineup, two for you to check out: the Social Media Marketing Talk Show, as well as the AI Explored podcast. Until next time, may you be wise with your marketing decisions.